Hey everyone, it's Michael. Today we're going to be talking about Give Yourself Goosebumps number 10, Diary of a Mad Mummy. I love the holographic title, cover things. It's so cool. I wish that Give Yourself Goosebumps had stayed with these. Diary of a Mad Mummy. By the way, I'm still kind of sick. My throat is still not so much sore today, but itchy and tickly and stuff. And I don't get that. So I'm still coughing a whole lot, and that's just kind of a problem you're going to have to deal with for right now, folks. But I love you. Anyway, Diary of a Mad Mummy. What is this Goosebumps book about? Of course, this is one of the choose-your-own-adventure type books where you get to a page, and at the bottom it'll have maybe one or two or three or four options for you to go make a choice of what you want to do next in the story, and it'll always lead you to a different type of ending. And I have a lot of fun with these books. The more that I read them, the more I enjoy them. When I read my first one, TikTok You're Dead, which is the second one to ever exist for this series, I always thought that these would be kind of fun, but kind of not as cool and enjoyable as the regular Goosebumps stories, the full-fledged novels and books and stuff. And I was wrong. The Give Yourself Goosebumps books are some of the most fun Goosebumps books, some of the most creative, and I still stand by that with Diary of a Mad Mummy. This is really fun. Basically, the plot of this is that you and your family, your older brother and your younger sister, Susie, are going to an exhibit of a ancient mummy. And you happen to see the mummy move. But another thing that's kind of weird is that you also find a diary that's written by the mummy in English, for whatever reason. And the mummy in the tomb thing moving is kind of freaky to you. There's not really a whole lot I want to tell you guys about the story. There's a lot of different wild, insane turns that the story takes. It's so much fun. Everything about it was fun. One of my favorite parts of this book was traveling through the basement of the actual display you used to be at and having to use a map on one part of the book, one of the pages of the book, where you had to figure out which turns you needed to get to this actual place you needed to go. And your torch is about to go out of light, so it might be in the complete dark. And that was such a fun aspect of the story. It didn't last for a super long time, but it was really cool as an aspect to the whole book overall. Like I said, when I read these, I kind of sit down and use like 8 different bookmarks, and I go through every single option you could possibly do. Kind of like when people replay the same video game over and over again to choose all the different options and stuff, like in those Telltale Walking Dead games. That's what I do with the Give Yourself Goosebumps books, just because I like choose-your-own-adventure books so much, and I want to have the full-fledged, really satisfying adventure that these books have to offer. And I would say this is kind of new for me compared to the rest of the Give Yourself Goosebumps books I've read so far. I've only read about 3 or 4. Out of the ones that I've read so far, it seemed like every single possible ending and every single tale that you would play from beginning to end were a lot more fulfilling and satisfying compared to Diary of a Mad Mummy. Diary of a Mad Mummy is obviously one of the earlier ones, even though TikTok You're Dead was also a very early one. But out of the ones I've read so far, I didn't enjoy this as much as the others, but I still had a fantastic time with it. It was still really good, still really just adventurous. If you like adventure stories, if you like choose-your-own-adventure books with a real adventure scope and feel to it, Diary of a Mad Mummy is for you. This is totally worth every cent you could spend on it. I love these old books. They're so much fun. I was trying to think, there was something to it, too, that I really enjoyed. You know, I'm a big guy that loves, like the Mummy Universal movies and stuff, so when I read Goosebumps books about mummies, which is very rare, I've only read this one pretty much, but I have a bunch of the other ones that have to do with the mummy. And then, of course, the new one that comes out tomorrow is actually The Dummy versus the Mummy for the new Slappy World book. I can't wait for that. I hope and pray I can get to that by the end of the year, God willing. But this was a really fun read. It just had everything you could possibly want, especially if you're like an Indiana Jones type person, which was another thing. There was a parody of Indiana Jones in here, and it was called like Illinois Smith. Oh, it was great. It was so funny. It's so many good parody type things in here, but it wasn't like a full-fledged parody all the way, but it had some really cool stuff to this book. I don't want to tell you too much. I can't remember everything, but I don't want to spoil too much for you guys because of how much of a good time you can have reading this. If I had to rate, I mean, when it comes to Give Yourself Goosebumps number 10, Diary of a Mad Mummy, if I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I'd easily give this a 4 out of 5. A really fun one. Again, not my favorite of the Give Yourself Goosebumps books, but once again, another really good one. I don't think I've read a bad Give Yourself Goosebumps books. These are really creative and really, really enjoyable. and just genuine. You know, they're just silly. You know, they're fun silliness, and you can have a great time just hanging out with your kid and reading this, or just reading this on your own time. If this happens to be your first one that you ever read, you're gonna have a great time. Seriously. So anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on Diary of a Mad Mummy if you happen to have read it? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this awesome, awesome read. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you today, and goodbye.